Welcome to This Explainer, everyone. Today, we're embarking on an absolutely incredible journey. We're going to start by looking way out into the vastness of the cosmos at this booming aerospace infrastructure we're building, and then we're zooming all the way in, right down to the microscopic building blocks of human life. We're talking about a monumental breakthrough in space medicine that could literally change healthcare forever.
I want you to just pause and think about this for a second. What if the future of organ transplants isn't here on Earth, but up in orbit? I know, it sounds straight out of science fiction, right? But as you're going to see today, the solution to one of the most massive medical challenges we face right here on the ground actually lies up there, floating in the near weightless vacuum of space.
So, here's our roadmap for this explainer. 1. The new space era. 2. Testing limits in orbit. 3. The microgravity advantage. 4. First ever in-orbit bioprinting. And 5. The future of medicine. All right, let's jump right in.
Section 1. The new space era. Just look at exactly where humanity is right now. We are mastering space access while simultaneously looking incredibly deep into our universe's past. Just recently, NASA's James Webb Space Telescope celebrated its 4th birthday by capturing the Centaurus A galaxy, which, by the way, was shaped by a cosmic crash 2 billion years ago. But fast forward to the present. In June and July of 2026, we're seeing physiological tests happening on the Shenzhou 23, China successfully launching its reusable Long March 10B, and SpaceX gearing up for Starship Flight 13. And looking just a tiny bit ahead to late 2028, Firefly Aerospace is already contracted by NASA for the Skyfall Mars mission to deploy helicopters. The pace of all this, it's just staggering. To put the sheer scale of this modern spaceflight boom into perspective, 33. That is the number of Raptor engines powering the Super Heavy booster on SpaceX's Starship Flight 13. Standing taller than a 30-story building, it is the most powerful rocket ever built, designed to eventually carry next-generation Starlink V3 satellites into orbit. It's massive.
So the really crucial takeaway here is that all these concurrent global efforts are radically driving down the cost of getting to space. China's Long March 10B is making it cheaper to build out giant satellite constellations. NASA is using commercial off-the-shelf parts for its R5S9 CubeSats, literally going from design to delivery in just 4 months. Meanwhile, SpaceX's Falcon 9 booster, B1067, just completed a record-breaking flight, marking the company's 635th booster landing. And commercial partners like Firefly Aerospace, they're leveraging innovation labs to build lightweight composite aeroshells for Mars. We are laying down the actual infrastructure for routine off-Earth operations. But before we get to the biology side of things, I want to contrast this technological boom with the macro scale of the universe. 6 billion, that is the mass in solar masses of a sleeping giant black hole recently weighed by the James Webb Space Telescope from 10 billion light-years away. Space is unimaginably massive, right? But to truly conquer it, we actually have to pivot and look at the microscopic level.
Section 2. Testing limits in orbit.
Let's take a look at the Tiangong space station right now. The Shenzhou 23 crew, which includes Hong Kong's very first astronaut Lai Ka-ying, alongside mission commander Zhu Yangshua and spacecraft pilot Zhong Zuiyan, are up there conducting some seriously rigorous physiological experiments. They aren't just floating around enjoying the view. They're gathering plantar pressure mapping, testing lower limb biomechanics under different exercise loads, and measuring muscle and tendon characteristics. They're even performing multitask neuroergonomics using near-infrared brain imaging. Basically, they're trying to understand exactly how our cognitive functions change in space.
And this brilliantly illustrates our core narrative today. Understanding how human biology adapts to microgravity isn't just about keeping astronauts alive and healthy. Studying these biological stress tests in zero gravity is actually the vital bridge to advanced space medicine. It forces us to ask, well, how does biology behave when the rules of gravity are just completely removed?
Which brings us to Section 3, the microgravity advantage.
To really grasp this, we first need to define microgravity bioprinting. Simply put, it's the process of 3D printing living biological tissues and structures in a near-weightless orbital environment.
See, down here on Earth, we have a major gravity problem. When scientists try to 3D print delicate soft tissues, gravity just pulls everything down, causing the cell structures to collapse or pool into a puddle. To fix it, they have to use artificial scaffolds or chemicals just to hold everything up. But in space, microgravity acts as the ultimate laboratory solution. It allows for perfectly uniform cell distribution. The tissues can grow naturally in perfect 3D without any artificial scaffolding holding them back.
It's an absolute game changer.
Section 4. First ever in-orbit bioprinting.
Now, look at the sheer scope of what was just achieved here. California-based Auxilium Biotechnologies used their AMP-1 orbital bioprinter aboard the International Space Station. Now, while cartilage has been tested in space before, this mission marked the very first time that both kidney and liver tissues were successfully bioprinted off Earth. No way, right? But that's not all. The machine also successfully manufactured 28 nerve repair implants. They achieved multiple product classes in a single groundbreaking mission.
So how exactly did they pull this off? Well, it's a perfect synergy of all the elements we've been talking about. The AMP-1 bioprinter utilized advanced cell designs provided by the Wake Forest Institute for Regenerative Medicine in North Carolina. Once the tissues were successfully printed in microgravity, they were safely packed up and returned to Earth aboard a SpaceX Dragon cargo capsule, splashing down in the Pacific Ocean on June 17th. This right here is commercial spaceflight directly enabling cutting-edge medical research.
As Anthony Atala, the director at Wake Forest, stated, the uniform cell distribution achieved aboard the space station points to real possibilities for manufacturing medical devices and tissues in space. This quote really lends incredible authoritative weight to this breakthrough. We aren't just talking about a theoretical white paper or a cool concept anymore. This is a proven, scalable reality.
Section 5. The Future of Medicine.
Isak Lazarovitz, Auxilium's VP of Engineering, highlighted a really key word here, routine. He said, demonstrating multiple product classes and meaningful production volume within a single mission is an important milestone as we continue advancing toward routine manufacturing operations in orbit. They proved that you can produce meaningful volumes of diverse medical products on a single spaceflight. This totally paves the way for commercial, in-orbit biomanufacturing hubs in the final frontier.
This three-step path really shows exactly how the whole shebang ties together. Step 1, we lower launch costs through reusable rockets like the Falcon 9 and Long March 10B. Step 2, we use that cheap access to establish commercial in-orbit manufacturing hubs. And step 3, we use the microgravity advantage within those hubs to mass-produce flawless, implantable human tissues and organs. The rockets and CubeSats we discussed earlier, they are directly enabling a future where we can revolutionize terrestrial medicine and maybe even solve the global organ shortage.
So I want to leave you with this final thought. The next time you step outside at night, look up at the sky. Knowing what we know now about microgravity bioprinting, when you look up at the stars, are you actually looking at humanity's next great pharmacy? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and we'll see you next time.